Welcome back to Box of Lights. In this video we're going to be playing LEMBITU. LEMBITU is a commander of Estonian armies. The game is a cooperative. I'm going to be playing solitaire with 2 players. It's designed by Aigar Alavir, published 2D6. The map you see in front of you, our game board, is Estonia during the Middle Ages. LEMBITU is the most important leader of the Estonians, but he fell in battle in 1217. This is our capital, Eisenstein, and kind of states of siege fashion, our enemies are going to be closing in on our capital. We've got a turn track going clockwise around the outside. We'll start here and finish here. If we get to the end without Eisenstein being taken over by our enemies, then we win the game. There's 6 entry points for our enemies. We have the red enemy, the forces of Vesvolod, Prince of Novgorod, entering from the east. We have the blue forces of Valdemar the Great's troops arriving from the west. And finally green for Bishop Albert's Crusaders entering from the south. These are the Danish forces, the English and the Russians. Our only hope is LEMBITU and his forces, a leader brave enough to fight against all conquerors. I'm playing 2-player, so let's remove 2 player pawns. We'll leave the yellow and the green. We'll place the turn order marker right at the front. And the first thing we do is place some starting enemy forces. And this is where we use some dice. Okay, here's our dice. We're going to roll these 4 times. So for the first roll, we get no green troops, no English, but we've got some Danes and some Russians. So the Danes are going to start, and we've got 2 dots. There's 2 fortifications here where they enter the map. This one has a circle, and this one has this diamond shape. We've got 2 diamonds. Okay, if we'd have rolled circles, then we'd be entering here. So 2 blue enemies. Now they start at the head of this road. So every time we roll one of these icons, we place a new enemy unit. Then we follow the dark road to the next town, Hapsel, and place the next one. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? These dotted lines are forest trails. We can move along these paths. The enemies will take the shortest route, these roads. So you can see we've got some AI. Very simple, but we've got some AI with these dice controlling the enemy forces. And then the same here, we've got 2 red. So we've got 2 Russians coming in at the northeast. And again, they follow the dark line. If they come in here and reach our capital, then we lose the game. Right, that's 1. We've got to do this 4 times for the setup. And this time we've got a diamond and a circle for red. So diamond up here, and a circle is this fortification down here. So the red armies, the Russian armies, are coming in from the east. The green from the south, these 2. We've got a diamond, so 1 green here, and then 2 diamonds for blue. Not a good start. Twice more. Two blue, 1 red, 1 green, and that's diamond. And our final roll, green circle, and then 1 of each for red. Okay. We also start with some initial defences. I should have put them in before we roll, really. And here we look at these tokens. The tokens are double-sided. On one side we have an uprising, and on the other side we have a fortification. Fortifications will stop the enemy advance. Uprisings indicate places where fortifications might appear. At the start of the game, we place these in each of the 4 towns around our capital in this grey zone. These 4 are exceptional uprisings. They're called heavy resistance, and they will stop the first enemy advance into that space, into that town. Okay? Normally an uprising won't. Instead, at various points around the map, we've got a green, a yellow and a red here. Once the tornado hits those points, any uprisings in the green zone, like here, will turn into fortifications. Like I say, they're going to stop the advance of these armies. When we hit the yellow, then any uprisings in the yellow zone will turn into fortifications. Okay, and in this way what we're hoping to do, if we time it right, is head off their advance. Now, these enemies are always trying to move towards our capital down these dark lines. So you can see that if I put a fortification here, or an uprising rather, that turned into a fortification, then these Greens, these English forces, they couldn't move down this road. They will find an alternate route, so they might start heading down this road. And that's the only time they'll move down these forest trails. But of course the idea is that we'll try and block them off, and if we do that, instead of any units that would go into these places, instead go over here and they start sieging those fortifications. Okay, and once they've got enough units to successfully besiege the fortification, then it's removed and they start their advance once more. Okay, so that's the idea. Now I'm going to be playing with an expansion as well, and this is the Heavy Cavalry expansion. The Heavy Cavalry expansion introduces these knights. So they're going to be sitting at the front of this advance. Okay, any time when we're rolling our dice, if we roll 2 blanks, as there are quite a few blanks, then the heavy cavalry of those respective armies will appear. So this gives our enemies a little bit of an advantage. Okay? The expansion also gives us some more wooden tokens, and what these wooden tokens will do, instead of using these cardboard chits, when an uprising turns into a fortification, we get one of these wooden blocks. So it's just a little component upgrade. So we've taken the enemy turn, they've started their invasion. We now advance the turn marker. Every blank space is a player turn. Every space with one of these raging enemies is an enemy turn. And on a player turn we have a number of actions available to us, given by this little reminder chart here. Depending on the number of players, we have a certain number of actions each. Playing 2-player, each player has 6 actions each. Playing 3-player it'll be 4. Playing 4-player it'll be 3. For a total of 12 actions each player turn. So for one of those actions we can move along a road. We can place an uprising. We can battle an enemy that's sitting in the current town. Or we can move down one of these major roads. If during the course of our turn, so when we're spending those 6 actions, we move down a major road, we get 1 free movement on any type of road. Okay, just once per round, once per turn. So let's start off with green. You can choose the order that players go in each time, but one player must finish all their actions before another player. So you can't have him take an action, then him take an action, then him take a couple of actions. Do you know what I mean? So let's start with green. He's got to complete all 6 actions. Well, the first thing we're going to do is move out of Weisenstein to the next town along. That's 1, 2, then battle. We'll move a blue block. 3, 4, 5, and then I could move in here with my free move and then use my 6th action to take out this enemy. But here's the problem. It's the enemy's turn next. If they roll, we're on the diamond track here, if they roll a diamond and place one unit where a player's token is, that player's out of the game. Okay, in playing solitaire, if you lose a player, that's only going to leave us one player to work with. We've got half as many actions, right? So we don't want that to happen, so we don't really want to end our turn here. And the other thing about movement is you can't move through a town that contains enemy. So I either stay and fight, I can't move on. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use my 6th action to move back here and then move across to Fickle. I'm not ready to place uprisings just yet. I want to push them further back before I start doing that. Okay, yellow's turn. Yellow, I think we're going to go and face off this army here first. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll take my free movement and then I'll place an uprising here just because I can. Right, so we'll place one token here. Right, now it's the enemy's turn. Let's roll the dice. Right, we've got 2 blanks for green and blue, which means then heavy cavalry is coming out. So at the head of each of the blue armies, the circle one is right back here at the moment, and then the same for green. So one here, he's going to advance this way. And for red, we've got both armies advancing one town. Follow the dark line. Okay, it's looking tough. Oops, I should have advanced that. Right, now it's player's turn again. The first rebellion is up here. So we've got a few turns yet. 1, 2, 3 turns, 3 player turns before the first rebellion. So we really want to get some uprisings in these green areas if we can. Let's have the green player continue to push these back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'll take my free movement. Remember, if you want that free movement, you have to move down one of these solid lines. If you're only moving through forest trails, you don't get that free movement. Okay, yellow. Yellow probably ought to try and do something over here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then take my free movement down here. Hopefully try and get these next time. It can be tough. It can be tough. We've had a bad setup. Oh, nasty again. Okay, so green. That green advance is continuing. The cavalry lead the charge here. So there's 2 for green. They're getting close. And we've got to look out for these cavalry because they will not get blocked by fortifications. They're just going to ram their way through. So yeah, that is what the expansion adds, an extra layer of difficulty. Okay, we've got 1 for each of the red armies, and then 1 blue here at Arensberg. This is tricky now. I don't think we're going to get any fortifications down here in time. There's a possibility of getting 1 here and 1 here. Maybe we should leave green over here. It's tough. I think what we'll do instead is bring green over to help. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, uprising, 5, free movement, uprising, 6, and yellow's got a bit of work to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, free movement, 5, 6. And there is a little bit of a misprint here. This line, this road between Helmet and Odenbach is meant to be a dotted line. Okay, this is the main road. So I'm safe here. You've got to keep trying to make sure you end on a safe place. You can't afford for one die roll to knock you out of the game. Okay, enemy turn. I do need to do something about those. Yeah, I need to get some uprisings in there soon. 2 blanks again. So what this means is we get a new enemy knight. Now the rules say to place randomly if there's only one knight, but I'm going to say one, because this doesn't have a knight and this one does, I'm just going to put it here rather than randomly. And then the existing knight moves to the front of the advance. And the same for green. So you get one, have a cavalry here, and with the heavy cavalry already at the front, all it does is move 1 spot forward. And then for red, each army advances 1.